Hello and welcome back to Sacred Vapes. The channel aims to bring you the views and experiences of products in the market today, brought to you by an average vapor. Now this week I've got a review that's going to seem all too familiar, but for good reason I wanted to bring it back to you guys. I'll explain why in just a moment, but it is this. The Voopoo Drag 2 Platinum. Now, back in November I covered the Drag 2. Now, from what you may have been aware or may not have been aware, but a lot of the sample products that got sent out at the time were under very time constraints to get them live. So, my review was pretty much over a few days worth of usage back then. So, I tried to cover as much as I could, but predictably, that's not always going to be the case. There might have been something I missed. So, when they announced the Drag 2 Platinum, partly because my original one was completely battered at that point, I decided to pick one of these up. And mainly because I've really enjoyed using it over the past, 6 months, give or take, from the Drag 2 to the Drag 2 Platinum. So I wanted to do another review for you guys, and hopefully, rather than getting a first impressions review like the first one, you will get a much more experienced view of this device. So, as I've used many other dual 18650 devices over the past 6 months, hopefully I can offer you a much better reflection of whether this is actually any good. So, before we get into all that and get in the up close, let's give her a vape. So here we go for the unboxing for the Voopoo Drag Platinum 2. Now you get it in your typical Drag Platinum design. If you've ever had, to be honest, up until the Alpha Zip, most of the packaging looked like this. Little positive straight away is that it says Drag 2 on the box. If you remember rightly back to the original Drag 2 review, it didn't even say Drag 2, so it was very hard to determine that it was a Drag 2 mod inside. But yeah, switch it over to the back, you get your contents, information, scratch code, all the rest of it. QR code that side, social media links that side. So let's get her open now. And again, your typical Voopoo box. If you've ever had Voopoo before, you know what to expect. And inside you have your mod. Now it comes in a little bag, one of them little bags that I've mentioned in the past. I don't know where mine is, must have went in the bin, but you have your mod there. This lifts out, and inside you get your little booklet of information, bag with spare parts. For the life of me I couldn't tell you where all my spare parts have gone. They've just fell out. You get a USB charging cable, which is used for firmware. You've got the U-Force T2 tank in matching colours, and you get spare glass. You'll get 2 coils in the box. You'll get the it's gone out my head now. You get the dual mesh and you get the single mesh coils. So go back to my U-Force review way back in December now, was it? And you'll hear me thoughts all about that. So we'll get the mod out now. Get some batteries in it. Find where I've put them. You get a battery ribbon. It's a magnetic door, which is stuck in the box. Here we go. You have your drag door. It's your typical drag design, but you can see the platinum coating, very, very shiny. So yeah, you got a resin design on this side. You have your 510 pin on the top there, and then to operate this, 5 clicks. It's not coming on. I've put the batteries in the wrong way. Things can always go wrong. Here we go, that's why. Here we go. Voopoo logo will light up. And there's your screen. Your battery indicators, your ohms, volts, seconds for your vape time. There's your wattage. Now it works pretty much the same way as the Drag 2 does. So 3 clicks, changes menu. You've got your fit options, which the fit options are 0 is for, basically they're like pre-wattage modes. 0 is meant to be for flavour, or number 3 is for cloud, number 2 for flavour, number 1 is just cool. Basically, from my experience using this, you're looking at 0 is going to be about 20 watts under what you want. 2 will be about 10 watts under what you want, and 3 most probably going to be at least 10-15 watts over, maybe round about spot on. For 3 clicks again, takes you to stainless steel, nickel and titanium. You just pick one and there you go, straight into temperature control. 3 clicks again, takes you back to wattage. And the final menu, just there we go, if you hold the 2 navigation buttons in, you get watt menu, a memory menu, a version menu, and an SN menu, which gives you the gene chip options. And that's about it. So we'll take it back up top now. We'll get talking about the Drag 2 Platinum a little bit more, and we'll get into seeing whether it's worth picking up. Welcome back. So that was the up close for the Drag 2 Platinum, and as you can see, very much the same device. It looks the same, it acts the same, gives you the same options. So essentially, it is just a cosmetic upgrade for a mod. The difference is, as I said at the start, is that I've been using this, or at least using the Drag 2 in the general sense, for a hell of a lot longer than the original review had. So I wanted to give you a bit of my experience using other devices, using this one, and hopefully be able to give you good insight on whether this still is a fantastic mod. So first pro for me is going to be the looks of this. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. Now, I'm still not a fan of the drag written on the side. That has not changed in all these months. But yeah, overall, it looks really, really classy. Looks nice. It's all shiny. It's not really a fingerprint magnet either. So that's a bit of a con. Maybe on the side you'll get it a little bit, but not as bad as some other devices. But in terms of just the looks of it, absolutely fantastic. You know, I love the resin design being a darker style compared to the original Drag 2. And yeah, it's really, really striking as a device. Next pro for me is going to be the build quality. Build quality is fantastic, as you would expect. You know, nice and solid. Really, really solid. No issues there. Next pro, Gene Chip performs just as well as it did 6 months ago. One of the best chipsets on the market. Battery life for me, over a day. You know, it will take me up to the next morning, which I know is not the most accurate way of describing it, but I've had devices that died in the nighttime or even before. This one, over a day, you're going to be getting easily about 400-500 puffs at least out of your batteries before the batteries die, give or take, depending on how much you use it and how much you chain vape on it. But yeah, chipset works absolutely fantastic. No complaints whatsoever. It's really responsive, as you can hear. There you go. It's really comfortable to hold. Really comfortable to hold because it's a smaller design. Really does fit in the hand, nice and easy. Room for about 27mm on top. You're not going to stick a big 30mm on top of this, but there is a little bit of give before you get overhang. I love the fact, again, it's centralized. No complaints there. Love a centralized pin myself. The menu options, nice and easy. It's, as you can see on the up close, just the simple options. If you want to get into temperature control, you can jump straight into it, same as wattage mode. And the fit options are there for you if you want to use them. I say that just overall, it's just a fantastic device. It's very hard to really go into the little itty bitty things. It just performs really well. It's really reliable. Chipset works well. Looks really nice. You're going to get scratches on it, but you're not going to get your paint coming off like the former did. And yeah, just overall, really, really nice design. So we'll get into the cons of this now. First one I'm going to mention, just because I was looking at it right then, is it's still a little bit of a raised 5 template. Now, I know few people had issues with them when it first came out. So same thing applies here. They haven't reduced that down. So you can say it's a bit of a con for you if you don't want that. And personally, I don't notice it, but yeah. Next con for me is going to be that battery door. Here we go. You can hear the clicking. It does have movement on there. Now that's because I have the battery ribbon inside there. If we just put the battery ribbon inside, you get it a lot more. They haven't fixed the battery door issue whatsoever. So that is a bit of a con. You can notice it a little bit. But I say when you put the battery ribbon in this, you don't notice it as much as you did on the Drag 2. And to be honest, over time you stop noticing it, or at least I do. Next con for me, I say it's going to be a bit of a fingerprint magnet at the sides, especially on the ridges. You know, it shows up a little bit of dirt or anything like that, just from general usage. Next con for me is going to be the gene chip. It does take a little bit longer to load up than some of the others have brought to you. You know, certainly things like the Mechman and Shogun had a much faster chipset on load up. I know that's superficial and, you know, it doesn't make that much difference. It's only a few seconds longer, but it's worth mentioning compared to other devices. Next con for me, I suppose it's worth mentioning you can't fit up to 30mm, but then I suppose you can't keep the smaller profile if you're going to include that. Next con for me, the fact that I recognise, well, I'll go into two things, and these are personal cons for me rather than complaints about the device in general. The first one is the fit options are still there. They're just absolutely terrible. They really are. They save very little. In terms of, I can imagine in terms of the coil design for the U-Force T2, you know, the different wattages over the different coils means it doesn't really apply to them either. You know, as I said in the up close, the preset wattages rather than like adaptive. So no matter what tank you're using, it's going to stay at the same percentage. It's going to stay at the same wattage. So it is going to be really underpowered depending on which option you pick, or maybe overpowered. And yeah, just in the last 6 months, I've never felt the need to use them. So the other one is the pre-select wattage. Now, I didn't show you in the up close, but get the tank off a little bit. You get your no atomizer there. Here we go. Now, when you screw your tank on, you'll get asking whether to pick a new coil. Now, up means yes, down means no, just for clarification. So I'll press no in this case. But what that does, it guesses what the wattage is going to be. Now, sometimes when you put a tank on this, it works well. You know, it may push you about 10 watts under what you want, or it might push you like 10 watts over. But in general sense, some of the guessing it does based on the coil type is completely off, especially for stock coils. I mean, I've not had any experience to try with self-built ones, but in terms of stock coils, it does guess sometimes really badly. And I know in my case, I mean, using this tank on this recently, you know, it predicts it at about 90 watts, and I'm only vaping at 70. And if you don't notice it's done that, then you're going to be burning the coil out a little bit quicker than what you want. So yeah, that's a bit of a con for me as well. I think next con is going to be it's a little bit heavier than the Drag 2, ever so slightly, but yeah, I have noticed a bit of extra weight to it. Whether that's because it's a better build quality, I don't know, but yeah, for all intents and purposes, that's what you're going to get, slightly heavier device. And compared to other 18650 devices in the market, it might be much heavier than it. Certainly some of the other box mods I brought here have been lighter in that sense. Other than that, there's no other real cons. And I know I sound like I've been a bit critical for this, and just because I really wanted to put it through its paces. So we'll get into the overall of this now. And overall, this still is one of the best devices on the market. Whether it's worth picking up the Platinum over the original Drag, it all depends on how much you want to pay for it. because the Platinum seems to be going for a lot more than the original Drag 2 did. I mean, even now with the Platinum out, the Drag 2 you can probably get for about 40, maybe just under, depending on where you buy it from. Platinums I've seen going for 60, £70 still for the kit. And yeah, just overall, it's a very pricey thing. What you're buying is one of the best dual 18650 devices on the market by far. I mean, when I brought you the Alpha Zip kit, you know, that performed just as well as this. But this obviously is smaller. It's a smaller design. You know, it fits into the new Platinum family. And just overall, yeah, it is absolutely fantastic. I really recommend picking one of these up, or at least picking a Drag 2 up. For all the devices I've used, I mean, I'm somebody who's always looking for that all-day vape tank and that all-day vape mod. And the Drag 2, for me, has been that all-day mod. So, yeah, overall, definitely pick a Drag 2 up. Whether you go for the Platinum or the original, then obviously that's down to personal choice. But you are going to get better quality in terms of the paintwork, or lack of the paintwork on the Platinum. So you'll get much a nicer design for longer. So yeah, that was the Drag 2 Platinum. I say, yeah, I wanted to bring it to you. I know it's probably very similar to the last video, but yeah, I just wanted to speak from experience, and hopefully I've touched upon one or two things I may not have done last time. So yeah, as always, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Coming out this weekend, I've got a juice review for you guys. It's really exciting, and as well as that, I'm going to do a best of the year so far video. I was going to do it last weekend, never got a chance to, so I'm going to do a best of the year so far, to give you my thoughts on what I thought has been the best things to pick up. So yeah, thank you for watching. Stay safe. And keep vaping.